Welcome to a return to oneness. My name is Eddie, and I help people open their hearts. Today's discussion is from the book Reflections, The Healing Power of Love, Chapter 18, Opening Your Heart. The quote is from the book Return to Oneness. Conflict is the gift, the experience created by the belief in duality. And this belief arose when it seemed possible within the mind that believed itself to be not God, that God could have an opposite. Yet your heart knows not of duality or opposites. It only knows truth, that only God is real. But to the mind, opposites seem to exist, always offering a choice between two things. The heart recognizes there are no choices to make, for the heart knows only of love. Volume 1, Chapter 8, Paragraph 13. While your mind is lost in the deception of false beliefs, as well as living a false identity, your heart is not deceived, nor has it ever been. Yet the mind does not trust the heart, for the mind fears love. Although the mind seeks for love in the external, it refuses to turn within to the heart, where love lives freely. But what is the heart that is being referred to in this discussion? Is it the heart that serves to pump blood throughout your body, thereby keeping the body alive? Of course not. The heart being discussed here is simply the innermost core of your being. It is where the truth of yourself resides. But if this is truth, then why do you not know this self? The reason is truly a simple one. Although the reason rests upon nothing but denial, this denial has had far-reaching effects. Never forget that denial is as total as is love. And when you denied yourself, your mind and heart separated from each other. This denial, which is but the root cause in the belief of separation, left your mind wandering in a desolate wasteland, devoid of both light and love. However, your heart remains untouched from the darkness that has beset your mind. Furthermore, you have lost sight of your true self because of obstacles which stand between your mind and your heart. And these obstacles have done nothing but to serve to keep you in darkness, out of the light of the self created as an extension of the great light of the source of all creation. Although there seems to be 1,000 forms of obstacles, and yet 1,000 more after that, in truth, there is only one. What is this obstacle from which all others arise? It is but fear. Yes, fear is the obstacle which has made you blind to the love for which you are. Thus, you cannot see the light of love which is all around you because of the fear that lives within you. And fear blinds you to the very truth of your being. Yet here is the good news. Fear is not real. It arose simply from the denial of yourself, from the denial of the love for which you are in truth. Therefore, you can use your own creation, that of denial, and use it to deny the fear that blocks your inner light, your inner radiance, which is but the light and radiance of God Himself. In other words, you but deny the denial of truth. Fear has no power of its own. It only has the power you give it. However, within your heart lies the light of your being. But you must remove the obstacles which stand in the way of your heart. And once you allow the obstacles to be cleared away, your heart will naturally open. For your heart will bloom much like a rosebud opening to the sun on a warm spring day. Let then this be the one in which you choose to deny fear, as well as all of the forms fear takes, like guilt, shame, sacrifice, and loss, just to name a few. Allow your heart to speak to you of the truth of yourself, for it knows who and what you are. In truth, your mind cannot comprehend the light that lives within your heart. For as it is written in John chapter 1, verse 5, "And the light shineth in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not." Recognize then in this most hallowed moment that you must come to open your heart. For heaven, which is but the light of the love of God, is your inheritance. The time has come for you to let the light within your heart to shine forth from it. For the light in your heart will dissolve the fear held within your mind. And when the fear is gone, then your heart and mind will unite, for they will join and become one. Then the lion, which is but your mind, will lie down with the lamb, which is but the innocence of your heart. And in that moment, you will not only know peace, but the gates of heaven will have opened, and you will have returned home. For the long nightmare of fear and darkness will have passed away as they return to the nothingness from which they seemed to arise. Come now in this moment, in this most holy moment, to realize fear is not real. There is a saying that goes like this: there is nothing to fear. But recognize that statement. The statement, there is nothing to fear, has two connotations. The first is where fear is made real and you keep saying there is nothing to fear. But that doesn't change anything. It is the second meaning of the phrase, there is nothing to fear, which will set you free. And your freedom will come the moment in which you truly understand these words. There is nothing to fear. Because in truth, there is nothing to it. Fear is not real. So how can there be anything to fear? Because fear itself is not real. It is nothing but a false belief held within your mind to keep the truth of yourself hidden from you. And the fear that is buried within your mind has created all of the misery and suffering, the heartache and loss that you have experienced within your life. It is said that fear is the opposite of love. But love is all-encompassing. And because it is all-encompassing, it can have no opposite. Therefore, there is only love, which means fear is not real. But understand this: every time you play in fear, then you deny love. And when you play in fear, you make the fear real to you. And that is why you will feel conflicted. Because in truth, your heart knows fear is not real, that only love is. And every time you play in fear, you have denied the love for which you are. Remember, only love is real. And because only love is real, only love can be shared. In truth, you cannot share fear, because fear is not real. Only love is real. Only the truth of yourself, which is the love of God, is real. If you want to experience what it means to have an open heart, then you must remove the obstacles of fear. Yes, fear can take many forms: anger, grievances, resentment, sorrow, pain. Each one of those are but a form of fear. And each one, when experienced, means that you have denied love in that moment. But that does not mean that you have to stay stuck in it. For the moment that you realize this is nothing but fear, you can change your mind. You can simply say, I choose again. I choose to experience the love for which I am in truth. I also want you to recognize that you cannot ask fear to be taken away, because the Spirit, the truth of yourself, knows that fear is not real. So how can it take what does not exist? It can't. Furthermore, the Spirit, your true self, couldn't take it, because that would be an attack upon you. And it would go against the two most fundamental spiritual laws there are: the law of free will and the law of cause and effect. So rather than ask for the fear to be removed, take a deep breath in the moment that you recognize that you're playing in fear, and simply choose again. Choose love. And when you choose love, you will have chosen the light of your true self, and that light will dispel the fear. And as the love pours forth from your heart, you will feel it as joy. And in a flash of light, you will feel the peace that is your inheritance. And then you will be free of the fear that has plagued your mind. It isn't difficult to do. You just simply must recognize fear for what it is. What is it? Absolutely nothing. It is nothing more than the denial of love, the denial of the truth of yourself. Let then this day be the one that you embrace your true self, the truth of what you are, the light of your own being. And let the fear go. Let the fear dissolve back into the nothingness from which it came. Thank you for listening. Peace, love, and joy to you and to all who are listening.